and we have elected leaders who are there not doing anything about it.
Well, I know you and I and Senator Russell benefited from having, back then we didn't even have that much money.
Right.
But we had programs and dedicated individuals to make sure that the sports in schools were what they were, and the effectiveness of good competition made us, good citizens today.
I will tell you straight up, when I was in St. Dunstan, I used to play on St. Dunstan team. So
okay, let me interject.
Yes.
That money is part of it, but a desire by your community to promote it, with parents volunteering, parents coming out and assisting.
But they're not volunteering because they don't see the government putting in the effort. Let me just say this so I could come after somebody could come on.
Okay.
My last comment, Senator, I just want to turn a page here.
Please. We'll ask you the survey question.
Okay, the unions, right?
Yes.
Are, again, up in arms with the 8%.
Yeah, and I'll ask you about that.
We got a survey question.
We got a survey question we want to ask everybody.
Up in arms about the 8%. They're saying that we didn't negotiate with the legislature, but yet still the legislature is saying we agreed to the 8%. Talk about that for me and let me hang up.
No, don't hang up yet. Listen to this survey question.
Okay.
Which do you think you prefer? A 8% reduction in salary or to terminate 14 government employees? Which
1,400.
That's a no-brainer. But
which one you prefer? Tell us.
We're taking out the survey here this
survey,
morning.
Mr. Miller.
I don't want a termination.
Okay, so you prefer the 8%.
Well, I don't want a termination.
I hear that. I like your answer, but listen.
8% has to be negotiated with.
Okay, fine.
The next question is, should the Senate raise taxes to generate revenues to solve the budget deficit for 2012?
Yes, the wealthy.
Okay, hold up.
Wait. We got options.
Okay, we got options.
Select two. Select two of the following.
A sales tax, a excise tax, income tax, gross receipt tax, or a sin tax on alcohol and tobacco. Income tax, you say raise?
I will go alcohol and tobacco for now.
One, okay.
Because you got get more?
We got two, pick two.
Okay, alcohol. Say them again, sorry. I didn't.
Sales tax, which is a sales tax is any item you buy, retail. Right. Excise tax is import and stuff that coming in. Income tax is what you were suggesting, tax the wealthy, shift the tax system. Gross receipt tax is the one that we pay now, and there's a opportunity to raise it 0.5 more, and then the same tax is alcohol and tobacco. Okay. Which one?
For sure, the alcohol and tobacco and the all the thing them coming in.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Okay, you the first survey post we did, okay?
Answer his question. And then
which one? About 8%?
Ask about...
I'm going to hang up and listen.
Explain a little bit about the union.
Yeah.
And the 8%.
We met with the unions, and we asked them about whether they preferred the termination or a reduction in salary. They agreed wholeheartedly that a reduction in salary. We told them we were proposing at 8%. And they would send us their proposals to suggest whether or not they had other options to the 8%. But they agreed in concept that the reduction was the way to go. And they agreed also that we had the final decision. They would submit proposals. Nobody left the room with any disagreement about those two things. When we left the room, a reduction in salary was agreed. Nobody opposed it. And they knew that we would have to make the final decision as to what type of reduction. And they could all submit proposals. So that they reneging. They reneging on the agreement that a reduction and that we have the final decision. That's if we come in to a union meeting with the union leaders who represent their union members, and they leave the meeting with that type of agreement, we proceed in good faith that is the agreement that we have. You don't have to have agreement in writing. What has happened is that they agree to this, and when they went back to the membership don't agree, so they're changing. But that's the agreement. Okay, let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning, Senator Russell. How are you,
Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown, good morning.
Morning, everyone. First of all, Senator Russell, I just want to say, congratulations to our brothers and sisters in South Sudan. Today they became an independent nation.
Okay.
And, the people of Sudan have been through so much over the last several decades. Millions of people have been killed. Millions of people have been refugees. And I just hope that the people of Sudan have some some period of time of peace and prosperity, because they definitely need it,
Right.
Also, in regards to what you're saying, I think you're 100% right. We all need to be responsible when we call into the radios and to speak. One of the things I try to do, I don't get into back and forth with anybody.
Right.
You understand? I don't do that.
But you're respectful.
People, huh?
You're always respectful, Mr. Brown.
I have to be, because, after I had done the hunger strike, some of the things that some of the younger people in this community came up and told me in just admiration that I had got the response from the president, I had to calm some of them down. They were like, anybody say anything bad about you, I going to. I said, listen, you can't go do nothing to nobody and get my approval. I'm a non-violent man. You do stupidness, you won't go to jail. Don't say Edward Brown had anything to do with that. You need to calm down. But you got some people who are mentally disturbed, that, they hear things and they say, why, I admire this person fighting for me, and I going to go out there. Next thing you know, they get so animated that they do foolishness, and it's like, wow, I really do that to this person, or went and did this foolishness. They didn't catch themselves until after they did it.
Right.
So, people need to calm down. Everything is a process. And nobody always gets what they want, but we just need to calm it down.
Well said.
Talk to me. I know you had a question for me.
Yeah, the thing I call about is this, right? I know you the man that you're the Senate president. Now, the last week or so, I've been asking the delegates for the Constitutional Convention to answer President Barack Obama. I think it's time that we do that out of respect for the office in regards to whether they're going to reconvene the convention or not. If the delegates decide to reconvene, I know this whole thing about funding and who's supposed to pay, but at the end of the day, based on the entitling legislation, somebody has to pay,
right?
Whether local or federal. That's not a here or there issue. But I would say to you, if the delegates come with any funding request, I would ask you, Delegate Christensen and Governor John P. DeYoung Jr., to immediately send a request to the Congress through the Interior Department to reimburse the local government from this point forward all the way to the election for all the costs that will incur if the local government has to help the delegates to the 5th Constitutional Convention.
Okay, there may be other ways to solve that constitutional issue, okay?
Funding-wise?
And just completely, just the whole process. And we're exploring that. Okay?
Oh, you're exploring that?
Yeah, we're exploring ways in difficult financial times how to address having a constitution brought to the people to have it voted on. It's very difficult financial times.
Let me ask you, just to make sure, you're not saying that what you're talking about is any way going to impede or interfere with the delegates who the Congress is now identifying as the people who are a part of the process, right? You're not saying that the senators and the governor are going to decide to do what they want to do regardless of the people that Congress identify as the people they're dealing with.
Well, let me put this to you, okay? If there's a legal way for us to get this 5th Constitution done and done in a way that it could get to the people, there's some of us who really want that done like you.
Yes.
And it don't have to be restricted by money. Because right now money is a restriction.
Okay,
what we have to do is find a way that wouldn't require any additional funding to get past the stalemate that we're in, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what...
you need to answer our survey before you go, Mr. Brown. You heard the questions?
Yes, I heard the question. You know what I'm going to say. I'm a Republican. I ain't believe in increasing no taxes.
Okay.
So none of the taxes you don't want?
You don't want none of the taxes?
No. Spending cuts. I mean, we're generating so much money, and I don't even know where half of this money is going. Nobody ever sure what's being done with all these hundreds of millions of dollars. I ain't for increasing nobody's taxes until we really know where all the money is going.
Okay,
now,
good.
8% or cut people, as a human being, I mean, who is ever going to say that they're going to agree to send even one person home? But the legal aspect of it is I just don't see how you can cut somebody's contract. I mean, Senator Russell, you could sit with the union. You could sit with my AFT man, Mr. Howell. He could tell you whatever he wants. But Mr. Howell can't vote for me. Mr. Howell has to come back to me and say, Mr. Brown, this is what the Senate is proposing. Do you vote? Will you vote to agree to cut your 8%? Mr. Howell ain't call me and tell me nothing but come for no special.
That's wait. Let me go to that, Mr. Brown. That's one way that it has to be done. Suppose a representative is given the authority to make a decision without coming back to the membership.
Well, if that's in the contract, then
not in the contract. It might be that the membership allow their representative to make decisions regarding certain things, and they don't have to come back.
Right, but who is the members?
The members is the membership of the union who paying dues.
Right.
And so what happened is people always believe that representation mean that before you make a decision, you got to come back always to the public. When we are elected, we don't have to go back to the public to ask them about everything we do. They elect us because they trust our character, they trust our intellect, they trust our knowledge, and they trust our decision-making ability. So when you elect a senator, if we had to go back to the people all the time before we make a decision, we never have the time to make a decision. Well, so representative don't mean always going back to the membership, you know.
Well,
no, let me just say that.
Why this is such a fascinating case, and I'll close in this, Senator Russell, because the system that I was previously in, my county commissioners, I'll give you an example. The school district wanted to build a school.
Sure.
Now, here in the Virginia, you go to the Senate and you say we need $300 million to build the school, and the senators approve or disapprove. But there, you had to go put that on the ballot. You had to vote for it, the people who oppose and the people who agree. It went into your property taxes. Every year, you would see how much dollars you had to spend in your property tax in order to get that school built. And then you had a say. It's a different system, different than ours. So the attorneys for the unions, they have to, Senator Russell.
Wait, I don't know. I'm just telling you.
But you don't answer the question. 8% or 14%?
No, he said 8%. He go with 8%.
You going with 8%?
Of course, as a human being.
Okay, listen, Mr. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
In Switzerland, I have a niece who's very close to me living over there, and they believe that going back to the people when they elect representatives is completely crippling the social structure.
Yeah.
Because they have a constitution that said that most money issues above a certain amount have to go to the people.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on your organic law, your constitution. Our revised organic act gives the legislature broad power to represent the people. We don't have to go back to referendums to the people in the 2-year cycle to hardly any decision. We make the decisions because the people are supposed to be wise enough to elect people of character, of intellect, of knowledge, and judgment that they could be fully represented, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, how the unions elect their leaders will reflect their organic document, their constitution, their bylaws.
That's right.
So that if their bylaws said that the president can't make no decision for them unless he come to the membership, that's one thing. But if the bylaws gives him, if they have regular monthly meetings, the ability to make a decision between those monthly meetings, and then maybe bring it back to for ratification or make the decision in certain areas and not having to go back to the membership, that's how it is.
Right.
And when we met with those union representatives, there was nothing that was pointed out to us or said to us that they have to go back to their membership. We talked.
Nobody said that.
No, we hear nobody saying they're going back to the membership.
Did you guys ask?
Of course, we were there.
Okay.
We were there. And what they said they wanted to submit